Today we're going to be going over 7.4 on constructions. Our learning target: I can use a compass to find the center of given points, construct a tangent line, construct a circle, circumscribe a circle, and inscribe a circle. Okay, so before we start the construction, let's go over just a couple vocabulary words. So circle, we all know what a circle is, but the definition of a circle is a set of points in a plane equidistant from a given point. Okay, so that just means that wherever I'm on in my circle, that's all the same distance from the center. Okay, the circumference. The circumference is the distance around the edge of the circle. It's the outside of the circle. Okay, a radius. A radius is a segment from the center of any given circle to any point on the circle. It's that distance. Okay. And we have tangent. I should probably say tangent line, but tangent. A tangent line is a line that intersects a circle at only one point. So if I have a circle, then a tangent line would just touch that circle one time. Okay, a vertex. A vertex is a point where two or more lines meet. The plural is vertices. Example, this would be like on a rectangle. Every corner of a rectangle would be a vertex, or all four of them would be the vertices of that rectangle. We have two types of circles that we're going to be constructing today. We have an inscribed circle. An inscribed circle is a circle drawn inside a polygon, where every side of a polygon is tangent to the circle. So an inscribed circle is inside the polygon. And I have a circumscribed circle. A circumscribed circle is a circle around a polygon such that the circle intersects the vertices of the polygon. Okay, so inscribed is where the circle's inside, and circumscribed is around. How I remember that one is like the circumference of a circle, the around the edge. The circumscribed is around the polygon. Okay, so just taking a look at these two shapes down here, which one of these would you say is inscribed and which one is circumscribed? Okay, well, looking at this first one, my circle right here is around my triangle. So this one would be a circumscribed circle. So I'll label this one a circumscribed circle. And then looking on the one on the right, my circle is located inside of my triangle here. So this would be an inscribed circle. Okay, now I just want to take a second to go over a couple more vocabulary here. I've got these 3 points here. These would be this one would be a vertex, this would be a vertex, and this would be a vertex. If I'm saying all of them together, they would be my vertices, okay? Because I've got 2 lines meeting at a point, and as long as I have 2 or more, then it's a vertex. Okay, now let's talk about this line over here. What would you call this line? Well, this line comes and touches this circle. It's kind of bold how I did it, but it only touches that circle one time at that point right there. So I'd say this is a tangent line. Okay, now I want to go over one more here. So I'm talking about this line right here. That line goes from the center to a point outside on my circle. So I would call this my radius. Okay, so that's all the vocabulary we have to go over today. Now I'm going to switch over to my camera so we can start constructing on the next couple pages here. So just a moment. Okay, so the first circle on this construction paper says to locate the center of each circle. See, so I can see little outlines on mine because I already attempted this once, but I wasn't being very precise with my line, so it wasn't gonna end up looking like the exact center. Okay, so when we're doing this, we just want to make sure that when we draw our lines and doing our arcs, we're as precise as we can, because it'll end up looking a lot better that way.
So my first step that I want to do is I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line it up. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific, and I'm just going to draw a line on my circle. Okay, so I've got that line right there drawn on the circle. Now I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to put it right at the top of that line where it touches the circle. Okay, and once I've got my compass right there, I'm going to make sure that my compass is greater than half the line, which just means it's opened up wider than at least half that line, which it currently is. So then I'm going to make an arc down below, down here, okay? And then I'm going to make an arc over here as well. Oh, I moved, so I'm going to redo here. I'm going to make an arc right. And I find it easier if instead of turning my compass, if I turn my paper like this. It's a little easier for me to manage if I'm turning my paper. Okay, now that I've put my pointy end at the top, I'm going to do the opposite. I'll put my pointy end at the bottom here. Okay, and once I've got it at the bottom, I'm going to make an arc over here, and I'll make an arc over here. Okay. Now I've got these two X looking things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line it right in the center of those X's. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw a line that goes through those right there. Okay. So now that I've got this new line here, I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did with this line, but on this new one, okay? So what that's going to look like, I'm going to make this X a little smaller, so I've got a little more room here. I'm going to use this point and this point as my new chords, just like I used this one and this one before. Okay, so I'm going to put my pointy end right here, and now my compass is just barely about at the halfway point, so I'm going to make it a little bigger than halfway. Okay, so that's big enough, it's greater than halfway. And now I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do a line up here and a line down here. Okay, and then I'll come over on this other side, put my pointy end right there, and I'll do a line down here and a line up here. Okay, now I have the two X's again. I'll take my ruler, I'll line those center of the X's up, and I'll make a line right there. And then right here where those two lines intersect, that is the center of my circle. It should be in the exact middle of your circle there. Okay, so that's how you find a center of a circle. So now if you want to practice doing that on number 2, or you can watch the video back and just follow the same steps. Okay, now we're going to go on to number 3. It says construct the line segment tangent to the circle through the given point. Okay, so tangent means that it's only touching one, so we need a line that comes through at this point right here and only touches once. Okay, so how we're going to do that is our first step is to connect these points. So I'm going to line my ruler up, I'm going to connect these 2 points, and when I get there, I connected my 2 points, I'm going to keep going as well. I'm going to make it longer. Okay, so I've got this line that's connecting my 2 points and it's going out further. Now I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to put it right here at my point on the outside of the circle. Then I'm going to make this shorter because I don't want it to be longer than my point out here. Okay, so now that it's on my point on the outside and it's shorter than this line, I'm going to make an arc on the line right here. Okay, and I'm going to turn it around and make an arc over here. Ooh, try that again. Put it back on the point. I'll make an arc over here as well. So I've got an arc inside my circle and an arc outside my circle. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pointy end, put it right where the arc and the line intersect, and I'm just going to make this longer than it was before because it can't be the same size or I'll just end up putting it right on that dot. So I'm just going to make this, my compass, a little longer. Okay, doesn't matter how much longer, just a little longer. And then I'm going to put an arc up here and an arc down here. Okay, and I'm going to rotate it, put my pointy end on this other arc I made, and I'll make an arc up here and an arc down here. Okay, so I've got two X's again. I'm going to take my ruler and I'll line up the center of those X's. And if all my lines are straight and correct, it should touch just barely at that point. Let's see, right there. Okay, so I'm looking at my line and it does touch right there, just barely. Perfect. So if you want to try to do that on number 4, or you can watch the video back and follow the steps. Okay, moving on to the back side here. Number 5 says circumscribe a circle about each rectangle, or this rectangle, okay? So that what that means is we want to draw a circle around this rectangle. So what we're going to do is I'm going to find the center of the rectangle, which is a lot easier than finding the center of a circle. All I've got to do is I've got to, I moved my ruler, so I'm going to try that again. I'm going to cut this rectangle in half by its diagonal. So I'm going to line it up from this corner to this corner, draw a straight line, and then I'm going to cut it again on the other diagonal. Okay, so line these corners up, and I'll cut it just like that. Okay, so where these two lines that I drew intersect, that's my center. So now there's only one more step, okay? We're gonna put our pointy end right there on the center. Okay. And then we're gonna make our compass touch one of the 4 outside corners. Okay, so like right there. Okay, so I've got my pointy end at the center, and this is touching one of my corners out here. And now, and I might go out of camera here because I'm going to rotate my paper instead of rotating my compass. But now I'm just going to take my compass and I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, I'm running into things here. Draw a circle around. Maybe I will rotate my compass. And I moved a little bit because I ran into something on my table. But if you lined it up correctly and you didn't run into something on your table, this circle should hit all of your points exactly. Mine didn't quite line up because I moved, but it should look roughly like it's going to hit every corner, which this one roughly does look like it would have hit those corners had I not moved. Okay, so that one's super simple. So if you want to try that one again on number 6. And we're actually going to skip number 7 and 8 because they're very similar to this back side, number 9. Okay. So number 9 says circumscribe a circle about the triangle. So we're doing the exact same process. We're just doing it around a triangle now. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose 2 lines. I'll do this left line and this bottom line. And we're going to find the exact center of these lines. So let's do this left line first. I'm going to take my compass, I'm gonna make it greater than half of this line. So just a little bit bigger here. Okay, now I seem to be greater than half the line. And then I'm gonna put my pointy end at the top vertex up here. I'm gonna draw an arc over here and an arc over here. Okay. Then I'm gonna take my pointy end and put it at the bottom and do the same thing. I'll make an arc up here. Oh, try that again. An arc up here and an arc over here. Okay, so I missed by a long shot, which is totally fine. I'm just gonna put it back at the top here, and I'll make it here and here. Okay, there we go. So this outside line I didn't actually end up needing, and I don't need that to be as long. Okay. Now that I've got my two X's, just like before, I'll make a line that goes through those. Okay. And so this line is cutting this left line right in half. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the bottom line. Take my compass, I'm going to make it a bit smaller since this line is a bit smaller. Okay, about there should work as long as it's greater than half. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'll put an arc up here, an arc down here, and then I'll flip it around, put my pointy end on this corner, and then I'll make an arc over here and an arc down there. Okay, I've got two new X's, so I will make a line right through the center of those. Okay. And so what this line is doing is cutting our original line right in half. Now where these two lines meet, that should be the center of my triangle right there. Okay. Or the center of my circle that's going to go around my triangle, I should say. Okay. So now, just like in the rectangle, I'm going to put my pointy end right there where they intersect, and I'm going to make my compass touch one of the points on my triangle. Okay, so like right there. And then I'm just going to go around. I'm trying to do this without going out of frame here. Just like that. Okay, and I touched at each point of my triangle, so I'm good. Okay, we're gonna jump to number 10. It says inscribe a circle in the triangle. And inscribing just means we're going to put a circle inside of that triangle. So this one's going to be a little different from all the rest that we've done. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our compass really short here. No particular length, just make it kind of small. Then I'm going to put my pointy end on this bottom corner. And I'm going to make a line here and here. Okay, so I've made a line on this bottom and this side. Now I'm going to put my pointy end on those arcs that I just made. And I'll put one in the middle here. And then I'll put it on my other arc. And I'll put another one in the middle here. Okay, so I've made a little X in the middle of my triangle here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to line up that X with the point down here and draw a straight line through it. Okay, so line those up, draw a line. Okay, and so I didn't line it up very well, which is okay. My circle's just not going to be as good as it should be, but I barely missed these corners. Okay, but if you can make that straighter, then this will look better. So what I essentially did is I cut this angle right in half. Now I need to cut one more angle in half. So I'm going to take my compass and do the exact same thing over here. Pointy end down here, and then I'll make an arc down here and up here. Okay, then I'll put my pointy end on those arcs I just made. One will go here, and one will go here. Okay, so I didn't make this one big enough. I'll go back, make that one a bit bigger. There we go. And then I'll just cut that one in half, just like I did the last one. Okay, so right where those meet is going to be the center of my circle. So I'm going to put my pointy end on the center there, and I'm going to make this go out and touch the side of my triangle right there. Okay, so I'm going from the center and touching the side there. And now I'm just going to draw a circle, and it should touch each side just once without passing if you draw your line straight. Again, I said I didn't draw that first line very straight, so mine's not going to end up being perfect here, but it should look pretty good. Okay, so you see I didn't draw this line very good, so this one went outside. But if it was a little straighter, the circle looks pretty good. It goes around the inside there. And that's how you inscribe a circle in a triangle. Okay, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.